to breed into the Bermuda Triangle mysteries. I never should have taken that job, but when you're a freelance journalist scraping by, you don't turn down assignments, no matter how bizarre they might seem. So when Mysteries Revealed magazine asked me to write a piece about the Bermuda Triangle, I jumped at the chance. After all, I'd grown up on stories about planes disappearing mid-flight, ships vanishing without a trace, and even whispers of UFOs and underwater alien bases. I didn't believe in any of it, of course, but the Bermuda Triangle, a 500,000 square mile stretch of ocean between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, had a reputation that I couldn't resist exploring. Help us. I booked a boat, rented some basic gear, and set sail. My guide was a grizzled captain named Ray, a man with skin like sun-bleached leather and eyes that squinted against the horizon as if searching for something only he could see. His boat, the Mariner, was a creaky old vessel, worn from years of service in the unforgiving Caribbean waters. "You ever been out here before?" Ray asked, his voice a low rumble as we set off from the harbor. "No," I said, adjusting my camera and notepad, trying to keep the excitement out of my voice. "First time. Have you?" Ray chuckled darkly, his eyes fixed on the horizon. "More times than I'd like to admit, but I don't go too deep anymore. Not after what happened a few years back." I raised an eyebrow, sensing a story. "What happened?" Ray didn't answer right away. Instead, he steered the boat further out into open water, the hum of the engine drowning out the sounds of the distant shore. It wasn't until the land was a thin line on the horizon that he finally spoke. "Lost my son," he said, his voice tight. "Disappeared without a trace right in these waters. We were out fishing one morning, just like always. He was on deck, pulling up a line, when he was gone. No splash, no sound. One second he was there, and the next he wasn't." I stared at him, my pen hovering over my notepad, unsure what to say. "I'm sorry," I managed, though the words felt hollow. "Did they ever find him?" Ray shook his head, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. "Not a trace. Coast Guard searched for days. We never found anything. No body, no gear, not even the line he was holding." I felt a chill creep down my spine, but I told myself it was just the wind off the water. "The Bermuda Triangle," I said, trying to sound professional. "Do you think that's what happened?" Ray's gaze turned cold, his jaw set in a hard line. "I don't know what's out here," he said quietly, "but it's not just stories." I nodded, though I wasn't convinced. The triangle was just a myth, a coincidence of dangerous waters and bad luck. Still, as the hours passed and the waves grew rougher, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The sky above us darkened, thick clouds gathering in a way that made the air feel electric. I checked the forecast before we left. It was supposed to be clear all day. By mid-afternoon, we were deep in the heart of the Bermuda Triangle. Ray cut the engine, and the boat drifted in the gentle current. The silence was unnerving. No birds, no distant hum of other boats, just the endless stretch of water in every direction. I set up my camera to record the vast emptiness, trying to capture the eerie stillness that seemed to press down on us from every side. "What now?" I asked, looking at Ray. "We wait," he said, his voice low. "Sometimes things happen fast out here. Sometimes not at all." I didn't like the way he said it, as if he knew something I didn't. I sat down on the deck, flipping through my notes, trying to ignore the growing unease that had settled in my stomach. I kept reminding myself that the Bermuda Triangle was just a place, an ocean like any other. There were no supernatural forces at play, no hidden dangers lurking beneath the surface. It had been fine all morning, pointing steadily north. But now the needle was spinning wildly, as if the magnetic field around us had shifted. I tapped the glass, frowning. "Hey, Ray, the compass is acting up." Ray didn't look surprised. "It does that out here sometimes," he said, his eyes scanning the horizon. "Just keep calm." "Keep calm?" I repeated, my voice rising. "Isn't that kind of abnormal?" Ray didn't answer, but I could see the tension in his posture. The air had grown heavy, thick with an almost unnatural stillness. The wind had died completely, and the boat rocked gently in the now calm water. I could hear my own breathing, loud and uneven, as I stood up to get a better view. That's when I saw it. A shape far off in the distance, barely visible against the darkening sky. At first I thought it was another boat, but as it moved closer, I realized it was something else entirely. It was massive, too large to be a ship, but its edges were blurred, like a shadow beneath the surface of the water. My heart pounded as I grabbed my camera, trying to zoom in, but the image on the screen was distorted, the shape flickering in and out of focus. "What is that?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Ray was staring at it too, his face pale. "I don't know," he said slowly, "but we need to leave." He turned back to the controls, but before he could start the engine, the boat lurched violently to one side. I stumbled, grabbing the railing to keep from falling overboard. The water, which had been calm just moments before, began to churn, as if something huge was moving beneath us. The air crackled with static, and a deep, low hum resonated through the boat, making the metal creak and groan. I scrambled to my feet, panic rising in my chest. "Ray, what's happening?" He was frantically trying to start the engine, but the boat wouldn't respond. "I don't know," he shouted, his voice tight with fear. "We need to get out of here now." The humming grew louder, a vibration that seemed to come from the very depths of the ocean. The shape beneath the water was closer now, moving in a slow, deliberate arc around the boat. I could feel it, something vast, ancient, and watching us. The compass was spinning wildly, the needle blurring into a constant whirl. The electronic equipment on the boat flickered, then went dead. My phone, my camera, everything stopped working. We were completely cut off. Ray was shouting something, but his voice was drowned out by the sound of the water crashing against the hull. I turned to see the shadow rise, its form becoming clearer as it broke the surface. It was massive, like a creature pulled from the depths of some forgotten nightmare, its shape indistinct, but undeniably there. My mind couldn't make sense of it, couldn't comprehend what I was seeing. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the shape vanished beneath the waves. The water stilled, the air cleared, and the compass stopped spinning. Ray and I stood there in stunned silence, both of us breathing hard, neither of us willing to speak. Finally, Ray managed to get the engine started, and we sped back toward the mainland, neither of us looking back. We didn't talk on the way back. I didn't ask any more questions, and Ray didn't offer any answers. But I knew as we reached the safety of the shore that I would never write about what had happened. Some mysteries, I realized, weren't meant to be solved. Some mysteries were meant to stay lost in the depths where they belonged.